that Vo is definitely not someone who's afraid of popping off if he's excited. That's it. And he's a very emotional player as well, and he will react. And I know that in LAN environments, you'll try to intimidate an enemy with the grunts, the competitive noises that might come out when you're winning an important round or something like that. Problem is, he's going versus Av3k. He's not exactly going to be getting intimidated by anything. He is a veteran of the big stage. We're getting started though right here though with Vo and Av3k in the quarterfinals of the Quake World Championship, and Av3k on camera. He's going to be starting with that Sorlak. Got a decent stack to work with. Important weapons, no LG yet, but the first fight comes straight in. That rail actually comes out, and Av3k is going to be licking his wounds moving through the teleporter.
Nice play from Vo there. He waited for the moment. He knew he was going to get his chance, and he took it. And then he followed up with that LG there. Had to deal with some rockets that came back his way, but came out with a frag, and will go now to collect that armor. Excellent play from Vo, and that'll be the confidence booster he needs in a game against a player of Av3k's just magnitude.
That's it. I mean, Vo0 was talking about just in-your-face plays that you get from Av3k and the intelligent aggression that you can also expect. But the thing is, Vo also has got some crazy aggression in his own right. We've got an LG fight over here. Nix against, but that is going to be Av3k landing a massive rail. And Vo might be disappointed of the damage output of himself just then.
Yeah, I don't think Vo was caught very alert to Av3k then. And we're a frag apiece. Just a minute in as Av3k will now go on the prowl. You talked about Av3k getting intimidated. I don't think, as this boy has grown old, he ever gets intimidated. Av3k escapes from Vo. And now we'll drop rails and rockets in, but to no effect, and will take rockets and LG as he collects the armor. Could be forced to pay a heavy price, just 7 and 6 as he will quickly go through. Vo looking for more, down to 7 points of health once again. Will Vo chase? No, he won't. And Av3k will live to fight another day.
That was an intelligent play from Av3k not to go through the teleporter. I think we just saw through the X-ray that Vo was spamming that teleporter. And just to clear it up, always got to say, of course, the players can't see the timers at the top left of the screen. They can't see anyone through the walls. They've got to do things with their minds here. Av3k comes out of Ghost Walk. This is a very vulnerable position for him to be in at the moment. Vo's going to know that cooldown's going to be up. And then maybe he can put the pressure on him and try and open up a small frag lead here in the first round of the series.
Here we go. Av3k in the corridor of the Mega, where Vo is about to come marching on down as well. There's the first rocket. Does a nice amount of damage, and Vo in the end will just push Av3k away, because Vo has so much more health than Av3k right now. Or as a champion as well. And now we'll go through. Rockets come raining in, and right on the armor was Av3k, and escapes, and that's an excellent little just flick and aggression and harassment from Av3k that will mean that if he were to face Vo again any second now, they're on a level playing field, and they will. But Vo's rail does a lot of damage. Av3k returns the favor, and both players could be just crushed down. But it is Av3k who will come out on top. Misses his first rail. Vo waiting for him. Does not chase through that teleporter.
Yeah, that would be suicide to go through the teleporter. He had 75 health, and Av3k had his rail crosshair honed in on the exit. And a small jump there from Av3k, stacking himself up very nicely for Nix. Going to be ready for any fight, especially with his ability up as well. You can see the stack underneath Vo's player bar. Not too much, and he's walking into heaps of damage just there. That follow-up rocket, I thought, could have done the job. But again, Vo will keep his distance for the time being. Av3k, that could have been the rail to put Vo on his last champion. And he's covering off the health bubbles, expecting that maybe Vo wants to explore the territory and recuperate any lost health, but Vo's not falling for any traps like that. Here's the armor. Mega in about 5 seconds' time. See if Av3k tries to cover everything, or if he's going to try and create a trap of some sort.
Vo will rocket to clear the entrance into the Mega and then escape. Thought there'd be a rail chasing him, and there wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, Av3k wasn't covering it that well, but that could be deliberate. I mean, you're not giving away huge amounts of map control when you're allowing Anarchy to take that Mega. because you can see already it's been a handful of seconds and he's already floating back down to 76 rapidly. We're 15 seconds, though, from possible sudden death.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Here we go. Could be this one exchange. And that one rocket from Av3k eroded all the difference between the two health and armor. And Vo will have to retreat back and wait to pick that fight next time again. And given that we are in sudden death, Av3k's just natural champion health bonus is going to play a huge role in this. Drops down now. Rocket from Vo does a lot of damage to Av3k. Can he finish it off? No. He'll wait and he'll just take that harassment and pull back.
Yep, Vo gonna look to get himself on the armor if he's got a bit of spare space. Knows that the Mega's up any moment, and is he gonna be able to control everything? You're damn right. And he's even gonna land the rail. That's very important. He needs to force out the Ghost Walk if possible. A push through the teleporter. He finds him. There it is. And now, can he make the read as to where to go? Rocket jump up. He's gonna find him in the room, but amazing shot so far from Av3k that's gonna force Vo away. That looked like it was a certain kill for Vo, but Av3k made sure it wouldn't be.
Here we go. Vo will take armor, and Av3k has very little play for. This is Vo's exchange if he can force it, and Av3k with no armor escapes. And Vo will sense that there is a moment here for him to take round one.
Can he find a way to push in? I mean, Av3k's been covering the corners so well. I don't know what kind of story this is going to be the beginning of, the chapter in the tale of Av3k and Vo, because this is sudden death in the first round of the first map, and Av3k is right below Vo. In fact, he's gonna check it. Throws a little rocket down there, but there's not going to be telling him much. That will.
Rockets raining from Vo as Av3k dances away down towards Mega. He will get it, but it'll cost him 88 after he collects it. Armor up by Vo, and now he will again be in the ascendancy health and armor-wise as he goes hunting down for the Polishman and cannot find him for love nor money. This is smart play from Av3k. He is not giving this life away cheaply.
Yeah, he's got to hide a little bit at the moment. That Ghost Walk is a saving grace. He's not used it. Trying to fake out a rocket jump and force Av3k around the corner. Rails missed. And, Av3k hasn't gone through the teleporter. Will eventually go through there, but there's no cheeky shenanigans he can get up to. Okay, that rocket, pretty huge. Av3k's going to be on the run. And watch out for the timer on the character square, just below where it's written sudden death.
So, there have been so many uncontested Megas where you just expect a rail to nip them in the bud as they go around the corner, and it hasn't happened in this one.
No, they've been very tentative. They know that they're so vulnerable to the rail angles that they really don't want to give up those kind of shots. And it's also, I mean, it's naturally quite difficult also to land a shot on a fast-moving Anarchy, as you're going to have a hitbox that's smaller than your clutch or your Solag or something like that.
Oh, big rocket.
Wow.
Moment here for Vo. Hits the round, and Vo takes it. Excellent double rocket. Dispatches of Av3k at the bottom of that jump pad. And whilst no emotion showed, you know that Vo is a man of many emotions. And that will be a huge moment for him because Vo has a lot to prove here. Vo, if you're not familiar with him from Quake Live days, you won't be. He wasn't a big champion in those days. He was a huge CPM player, huge painkiller player, of course. That's where he's most famed for. And then he picks and chooses the games that match his play style. And he will be asking himself, like, is this the game for him? Is this one he can compete in? And points off players like Av3k will mean it.
And you've also got to remember that he came in through the second chance qualifier as well. So at the moment, putting on a good game, getting these victories is him cementing or just telling everyone that he deserves his spot on the world stage of Quake Champions. And he's obviously giving us a good performance so far, but there's only one round of which to judge him on in this series.
Here's Vo, and he will dance with rails with Av3k, and Av3k has landed one, as did Vo onto him, and they exchanged. That Mega collected, and the rail landed as they'll basically exchange point for point there. Vo will get armor, and they almost have exactly the same health and armor, but coming from behind is Av3k's LG, and chasing him. It's an interesting choice to go for it, and Av3k will come out on top. If you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery, and Av3k won big on that one.
Mega coming up. Oh, sorry, armor coming out. The rockets were coming out from Vo, but little sidesteps there from Av3k. Too much for Vo's rocket, and it's come from hero all the way back down to 0 in this second round. Only Nyx left. He's right above the bounce pad. Av3k is going to have to try and force out that Ghost Walk a little bit at some point. There is no rush, of course. Ooh, it looks like he's dropping down on the lightning gun. This is tremendously risky. Vu also taking his risks, not using that Ghost Walk, trying to go in for the kill, but the precision from Av3k is going to win him this, the second round here of this map.
You see that quick little half shake of the head from Vu. He knows that he made some interesting choices in that last round that your cost him his advantage. But here we go, round 3. And we are underway once again. Early exchange, brilliant LG over the tail of Vu, who was in command of that armor and able to escape well enough.
And just little things to note, like not going straight for the mega health in case he takes damage moving out into center map. He's got that item to fall back on. It doesn't really add anything at the moment to this particular duel, but in those scenarios where there is some machine gun damage or some long-range shotgun, it's something to definitely take note of if you're someone looking to break into that duel.
Dropping down, Av3k looking for Vu.
Wow.
Vu's held. She was constant like the Northern Star, and there was no way out for Av3k.
Yeah, I think combined with some of the acid spit that was hitting directly, that meant that Av3k was falling very, very quickly. He's just spotted and had to do a double take to find him. And nice little backward movement we're seeing from Vu's Sorlag just there. And it's one of my favorite things to see, actually, when I'm watching Vu. He's spectacular to watch when he's playing as Sorlag, and even more so if he's playing as Anarchy.
First rocket does do damage to Av3k and doesn't make that an easy grab for him on that mega, but Vu wasn't in a position to really pick up a real fight, and will wait for the moment now. And as he just retreats, dropping a few rockets in, expected to see Av3k there around that corner. Av3k, I think, landed the rail onto Vu as well. And both will consider themselves happy with that exchange.
Vu just, oh wow, the trap on the teleporter exit. Rail is going to hit as well. And now it's for Av3k. Is he going to decide to push in somehow? Can he get a Ghost Walk going through the teleporter? They're going to meet each other in a moment. That's rockets landed from Vu. Keeping himself alive for the moment, but he's feeling so vulnerable. The only thing he's got going for him is the fact that he knows that Ghost Walk's not up for a handful of seconds. So that a feeling of paranoia will return that you always seem to have when you're playing against the Knicks.
Rockets past one another and brief connections for each. And now Vu will sit at the bottom of the mega corridor. Hasn't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, he hasn't seen any big items for a while. And it's not something he needs to bank on at the moment if he can get his natural stack up full again. But it's definitely something that can remove some of that control and that feeling of safety from a Nyx. Moving back, trying to look for a rail, but it's going to be Av3k who bites.
Crucial thing is neither 1-2 player at the moment can hit 2 shots in a row. The other one's always equalizing out whatever got thrown at them.
Yeah, so if Vu gets to stack up a lot more, then he won't feel as bad taking a rail shot. But at the moment, he feels he's so critical on health as soon as any damage comes out of Av3k. And he's obviously going to be respecting that play a lot. And not to forget, on top of that, Vu's already a champion ahead. He doesn't need to commit to a fight unless he can see that certainty in picking up the frag.
It's a very good point to make, as the clock will get louder and louder with just under 2 to play.
Set, and maybe we can get more than 2 small armors taken from Vu in a moment. Otherwise, Av3k is looking to conjure some kind of comeback into this round. He's not finding anything. Vu's defensive play has been excellent, and I don't think Av3k really wants to use his Ghost Walk offensively, because it limits that survivability when you do walk into a fight where the acid spit is there, and you can't get rid of that damage over time anymore. Every health point is precious. And Av3k walks into a mess for just a second, and he's going to come back in. He is. And that Ghost Walk is being used quite aggressively. Av3k is going to follow up. Rocket does a bit of damage, but it's the rail that comes out on this occasion. Can Vu survive any longer? There is the puddle of blood that will gradually heal him.
Yes, whenever I'm feeling down, I jump into a puddle of blood.
It makes everyone feel better. And that mega has just been taken. I feel that Vu heard that sound cue. Armor up when he does spot it, but again, I don't really know when the last time was that Vu actually challenged for one of the major items, but it feels like decades ago now.
Eye on the clock, 30 seconds to go, and the ball is very much in Av3k's court to make something happen here. And here he'll go, rail to the back of Vo0, down to 85, and now will escape as quickly as he can. And Av3k is not on his tail. He was expecting to see him come hounding down that mega corridor. It didn't happen, and with now just 13 seconds to go, here we go. Vo0 needs to make himself very, very scarce, and being sent on the top of that jump pad is exactly where he wants to be. He can hear Av3k coming. His rocket does a lot of damage. There's the LG. Av3k's chasing. Here we go. 1 second left. Vo0 takes it. Nice play from Vo0 in the last 90 seconds.
Little smirk as well right at the end. I like the way that he used the acid spit to block some of the territory and force some damage onto Av3k at least. And then he could play with some backwards-facing rockets or LG to try and finish the job. He just managed to get enough health and armor at the end to really survive that kind of attack. But it was close. And Vo0's going to want to make the next round not quite as close as that one. Oh, hello there. That's a lot of damage from Av3k to be dealing. Rockets there, finally one hitting. Got to watch out for the rail. But Vo0 delivering a lot and forcing Av3k through that teleporter.
If you're Vo0, you're going to be furious he didn't get more than just that after hitting that rocket and rail. He will drop down now. Rocket to the face, but Av3k's LG will push Vo0 away. Vo0 takes a very risky rocket jump to get out of there. Escapes with 12 points of health and will now make himself scarce. Rocket chases, and that rail from Av3k could have been fatal. Wasn't, and now we will see an exchange. Rocket at the feet of him. Vo0 last rocket. Second rocket, I think, just passed him by, and Av3k will take the kill. And Vo0 was playing with fire with that one.
Yeah, he absolutely was. But the nail gun coming out from Av3k, it was a brilliant weapon choice for him. I loved the initial dodges that we were seeing from Vo0, but he wasn't able to hold on to it at all. But we might get to see some of his anarchy at the moment, which is just a joy to watch. A bit of Av3k on camera as well. Got that mega behind him, throwing that acid spit up at the top. Didn't manage to get any damage down on it, but forced him away. Vo0 looking for some extra rails, as Av3k is armorless at the moment. Oh my days. Bye-bye, Anarchy. That direct rocket's going to be too much to take.
Av3k making light work of round 4 here. This rail could... Vo0 escaped as Av3k scoped up. And with a minute 45 played, Av3k is 2 to the good. You feel that round 4 is all but his.
Gotta remind that I believe this is Av3k's map pick as well. And Vo0's playing very well on here. Of course, he picked Ruins next. She'll be delighted to play on if he's winning this map. Absolutely.
Well, you have Av3k going all the way to the grand final.
That's it. This is a very strong performance from Vo0 at the moment. Know that he was feeling good today with his games. Especially after having a very tight series versus Kilson, getting his revenge from the regionals does make things sweeter. Vo0's got to hatch something together. 2.5 minutes have passed. He's got 2 champions at least to take down before the clock hits 5 minutes. And he's right above Av3k. Don't know if the heel of Nyx was spotted. Okay, this could be good. He's trying to get the perforation going, but it's very risky play. The acid comes out, Mega was taken, but that is going to be the acid spit, finishing him off. And we are tied up for rounds in map 1. Both players, map point, giving themselves a big advantage in this quarter.
Yeah, no inches given on this one, as both players have made sure that they're right in contention. Vo0 will be, as you mentioned, not his map choice. This is a map Av3k historically always very strong on. And he will feel like he has really made a great account of himself. We'll be asking a lot of questions of the poll. Here we go, Av3k in real trouble. Here is that LG just perforates through him. And Av3k gets away with just a handful of health. But there's 2 bubbles. Oh, follow-up rail from Vo0. We'll make sure those 2 bubbles are eaten away.
And how's Vo0 following? I'm curious where Vo0's chasing from. He didn't go through the teleporter. Av3k feels that it's safe over there. He's going to be able to get himself to the top small armor room. I think that was a good opportunity for Vo0 to finish the job, but he's not quite able to make it. Brilliant rail, though, from Vo0.
I think probably, oh, here we go, LG coming out from Vo0 will push Av3k away. I think Vo0's probably feeling after that last round that he's got to pick his battles just a little bit wiser. He gave away a few frags he'll regret in that last one, and that's probably what influenced him not chasing. On board with Av3k now as he has spied Vo0. Notice that Vo0's not gone back into the main room, and that will allow Av3k down towards Mega, and they will exchange here. Av3k with high confidence is where Vo0 was. No, he didn't actually. The LG comes out, Rail follows Av3k up, and Vo0 picks up the frag with the second Rail hit, and that's fantastic play from Vo0. Av3k, I thought he knew exactly where Vo0 was, but it wasn't to be the case, and now Vo0 having to get chased all the way out as he escapes.
And he is looking for an exit as quickly as he can. Got to watch out for any kind of Rail, needs those health bubbles. That was squeaky bum time just then. And Vo0 almost did not make it out. But now the question is how to hold on to that lead with the amount of time left in the map. And even trying to steal the small armor is going to be finding Av3k in a moment. He has got the acid spit, but he's not used it at all. Surely he's going to use it somewhere. He can't go down the stairs. Av3k's covering that angle too easily. Vo0's got to hold on a little bit longer. Health bubbles come back up. That's a savior for him. I think he would have just heard Nyx drop down to Mega. And that's going to make him feel comfortable to move around the map more.
Whilst we hit a moment's reprieve, talk me through the stealing of the small armor thought there.
The moment earlier when he was damaging himself?
For a new player.
Well, it's you're just trying to limit the resources available to your opponent on the map. And it works a lot more when someone such as Nyx has got a limited amount of armor that they can take to begin with in a fight at the moment. But I think Vo0's going to think twice about committing to that, he says, as he approaches that armor more so. But I think that was a net gain, possibly, for Vo0. But moving back to the armor, it's always good to limit the resources. It means that it takes a little longer for them to get those comfortable stacks and to feel comfortable engaging in a fight. And also means you've got less health and armor to fight against, potentially. But it's just those little touches that all add up.
We do our best to make this game as accessible as possible, and Quake's return to the main stage here. $1 million up for grab this weekend here in Dallas, Texas. Vo0 and Av3k are on map 1. They are on the deciding round of that.
Vo0's been holding on about almost 2 minutes now with the advantage he's got in this round, and doing very well with the stack size he has left. If he can land a rail, that would help him out a lot, but he's not able to do that. Double backing, Av3k will go through the teleporter, and Vo0 will deem it safe to cross this territory.
And Av3k knows he's going to have to pick a fight shortly. 90 seconds left to play. But Mega controlled by Vo0. Av3k has little in the way of health and armor to play with.
I think he sniffed out a problem up at the top and did not want to stick his nose around the corner. Vo0 trying to keep as much of this health and armor as possible. He's not even double peeking any of these angles in case the rail comes out. He's cherishing every single last point of health and armor that he has. And I really like that play from him. But it's very important that we keep an eye on what Av3k is doing at the moment, because he's got less than a minute left. He needs to get at least 1 frag, otherwise he might be going down. He's used that Ghost Walk very early. Vo0 has grabbed the armor and is immediately escaping. And this spells a lot of trouble, because before the time is up, there might just be 1 Ghost Walk left for Av3k to use. And he's somehow got to find himself taking down what looks like a huge stack that Vo's working with.
Well, he had to use that Ghost Walk to get out of that. He would have lost that exchange. But the problem is this rail. Av3k, against such a meaty champion, needs to be nicking Vo with lots of rails to try and level the playing field when they go into exchange. And it's just not happened for him this afternoon.
All right, we might have to see an offensive Ghost Walk in a moment, and he's used it on the opposite side of the map to where Vo is, but he's used the teleporter. He's going to find him right in the middle. Got to be careful of the acid spit. Has not fallen onto it. Finds 1 decent rocket. LG coming out as well, but the damage and the time is going to be what kills it. Vo takes map 1.
Wow. Fantastic. Little shake of the head from there for Vo. Can't really believe it. Av3k, nice offensive play there, and you felt had we had 10 seconds more, he would have tied it up. But in the end, Vo picks map 1, and that's Av3k's map choice, and Vo will be feeling very good right now.
I think, seeing the shake of the head from Vo, I don't think that's nerves though. I think he genuinely feels that he made the wrong decision. Going through the teleporter where he met Av3k that made that aggressive play. Maybe if he just stayed at the teleporter exit and dodged around as to not be perforated by a Nyx, he could have been a little bit more safe. So maybe he felt that he made his job harder than it should have actually been. to be critical.
When you talk to Vo, he's very self-critical about himself. So I think you can see that reflecting almost instantaneously. To talk about what I was talking earlier, just to clarify an earlier point, like what I love about Vo is Vo has always played one style. He's always played that CPM painkiller style. Quake Live wasn't his game, so he didn't play it. He didn't engage. That's not my way of doing things. And it's artistry. It's his way. And what I love about Quake so much is that every player has their own form of artistry and their own way of playing, and you either love them or you hate them for it. But it blends into this championship that we've got this weekend. And the question is, how can Av3k undo what Vo does so well?
I'm going to say he's going to have to find a way to be aggressive. I know the one thing, the one sort of kryptonite to Vo is he hates being railed. If you can land a lot of rails on Vo, then it is something that really gets under his skin. So I want to see Av3k using that weapon a little bit more.
Well, he wasn't on ZTN at all. It
seems sparse. The gun is on the map, but it didn't really seem to get used a huge amount. So I want to see Av3k maybe unlocking that a little bit more in Ruins of Sarnath that we're going to be seeing in a moment. But going on to what you said earlier about the way that Vo identifies himself as a player and plays these champions like Anarchy and like Saw. Like, that's something that's really brilliant that Quake Champions allows people to do. You've got so many different movement styles and attributes to these individual champions that you can actually find, okay, this is the way that I like to play FPS. And you can latch onto that, and you can really improve and become extremely strong at the game that way.
Whereas historically, Quake was very polarizing. You were either a CPM player or an OSP player. You were a Quake 2 player or a Quake 3 player. And you know, that cost us in Quake Live, where we lost players like Vo because he's just like, this isn't my type of game. So very enjoyable to be able to have a game that welcomes all those play styles.
Completely, it brings everyone back together again. But now moving into Ruins of Sarnath, this is going to be a huge relief for Vo, having taken the map, Av3k's map pick from him. Let's see though, because Av3k is definitely not out of this series. We are on board with Vo for the time being. He's going to strafe backwards, doing a little bit of detective work to see what's up, but gets the mega health afterwards and is feeling fit and healthy. And also to note that he's using Anarchy first instead of the Sorlag that we've been used to seeing on Blood Run. And we can just take a moment to really enjoy the movement that he shows us. Okay, the moment's over, you can carry on.
I was just enjoying it. Vo was very good in particular rounds, not in all rounds, in particular rounds of just picking one fight, winning it, and then being very hard to find. This map is going to add only more to that, as he looks for Av3k now, and will engage in a fight. As he waits for him to come around the corner, Rocket waiting for 90 damage. Can he finish off with the LG? This is a big moment for Av3k. He needs to get out of there, and he does exactly that, as he will drop down, going down towards the armor. Vo is in trouble. Vo has almost no health to play with, and escapes.
I've got to note that Vo really made an effort not to use that injection during that last fight, so that he can use it later on. Just about dodges that rail shot, lands one of his own, looking for flick shots and everything. I see. No big items that he can take himself, so he's going to wait for this small armor, but he's been cornered. Av3k just finds him and says, I know what you're looking for, I know what resources you want on the map, and I am going to starve you from them. Going up versus the other Sorlag. Acid coming out from Vo, but not a whole lot of it is landing, and that is going to be one more frag for Av3k. One more, and he's got the first round.
A good play from Av3k here. He's looking for that final frag, as he will sense where Vo has escaped to, and his LG and his jump will be, in the end, just what stops him from chasing out Vo. And a quick 2 frags from Av3k. Really, the second frag was the bonus of that first frag, the hunting down and forcing Vo out, then able to chase out that spawn. And now we'll see whether he can finish off this round. What a hit with the rail, and he will sense victory is imminent for him.
Yeah, there's only, over 10 seconds left until the Ghost Walk can be used. I think, did he hear him? He sort of must have sensed him, but those hourglasses have been used, and Vo has got his Ghost Walk available again, and he's actually just used it in that fight. Did not want to get near him at all. Nice little steal there from Vo. Can the rail land? No, Av3k. He could have cleared up the round if he had landed that shot.
Instead, he'll settle for that armor. He knows that Vo was going to take a look at it. Rocket's waiting for Vo. Interesting aggression, and it works for him. 2 rockets waiting for Av3k, forces Vo all the way, forces him all the way back, and there's a rail that nipped him on the skull as well. And Vo, with 3 big hits, changes the dynamic here and gives him a small window of opportunity.
That's it, but that small window might have already been closed with that Mega being taken as well. But again, it's promising for him of the type of fights that we're seeing. Av3k still isn't safe in this round. There's one rail, Ghost Walk being used, and Av3k falling back. Maybe setting up camp here in the lower basements where he can get that armor.
Av3k goes hunting for Vo, who's low on health, picks up at 25 himself, and Mega is Av3k's, and he will want an engagement so much. But Vo being scarce. Oh, there he is. LG out. This could be it. Ghost Walk is by Vo, who's escaping and will chase from behind with a rocket. Just nicks a little bit of damage, but nowhere near enough to put a smile on his face.
Just to note, as Av3k moved into that room, Vo's ability ticked down from 1 second to none, and well, that was the cooldown up again. He's going to find a pretty simple frag to lock down that first round. And there seemed to be very little presence on the map. You see Vo wears his heart on his sleeve and shows that that was a painful round for him to play. He's going to be expecting more from himself moving into the next.
Let's see what he has to offer. Av3k takes the Mega. Vo will dance around with the LG. First 2 rockets missed by Av3k, and there's a window here for Vo. Can he take it? The rockets put him up in the sky. Uses injection and finishes off the job, but in the end, Av3k will take from beyond the grave.
You see that health bubble, he was trying to walk over to it to pick it up, but I think even if he grabbed it, he probably would have gone down anyway, unless he could have got to that, the health bubble at the top of the bounce pad in time. But you know what, Vo is going to be very happy to have gotten rid of the Sorlag from Av3k. It's such a powerful champion for him to be using.
Vo now on a Sorlag of his own. We'll have Av3k coming dancing around the corner. Takes a little bit of damage. That rail, as he escapes through the teleporter, is missed.
Now is he going to pressure one of the items? The big armor's up in a moment, but he's going to be giving that away to Av3k in favor of having his own Mega. Does need to top up his armor stack a little bit. And has a double take again, trying to find Av3k with the rail. 2 rails on him. He's going to start dodging some shots because he's in no man's land in the middle, taking a lot of damage that he can't really afford to receive.
Yeah, Av3k will be over the moon with that exchange.
But how can he follow up from this? How can he push closer and close in and secure that next frag? He's still got to worry about that acid spit. Worry about the space on the map. Vo can edge away comfortably. It's a small armor that he can take. Really key at the moment is patience. Don't jump into a fight that you can't afford to be in. And really, he's taking cover in the dark corners of the map. Any kind of information play that he can make. Wow. Rails on from Av3k, but that is a brilliant return fire from Vo. Mega's up. Might find him, and Vo lands another. The armor's up on top of that. I can't believe that Av3k's chasing for this. He manages to steal away the armor in time, and he's going to find him up at the top. He's put off a little bit by the cloud of dust. That signaled where Av3k was, and well,
Vo's own rocket jump did a lot of damage to him as well. And Vo sensed his moment there to take it. But credit to Av3k that he's been able to take Vo all the way down to this low health.
Yeah, that was a really aggressive move going down to the lower armor after receiving that rail up at Mega. I don't think Vo would have expected that, and it again, maybe sort of symbolizes what Av3k is like as a player.
But this champion pairing just favors Vo so much at the moment. Like, that we saw Vo take down Av3k Sorlag is just like so rare in this exchange, and he will be over the moon to have done it, because Av3k just has to do twice the amount of work Vo does from here. And with 2 minutes to go, he'll be feeling like he is at the bottom of a mountain still.
This is why these kind of rounds can last a fairly long time when the players are looking for those favorable engagements. You're trying to get that the peak damage in to begin with before you commit to something in the close range. You're trying to play with the timings of one another's abilities. That's where you're really playing the mind games at the highest level. Mega's up in the moment, but Vo seems to be absent. I'll be happy to give that up to Av3k. He's got to watch out for a rail, moving over to this upper armor. But Av3k nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, that gave Av3k a small window to pick a fight if he wanted to. Av3k just coming from the right now for Vo, but Vo drops down.
He's clueless about the timings on the items as well, which isn't good for Vo. Of course, he's got some good stack to work with at the moment, but he's got some information to gather before he can really make some solid plays on the items themselves. What a timing to do some mind clearing with the rockets. Watch out, finds Av3k up the top of the stairs, trying to push him away and make this item his own. This is a good sense from Vo to pick up this armor himself, landing the rail as well, and that is going to force Av3k away. He cannot fight what was sub 50 health that he had.
Whoa, big opportunity there for Vo. Av3k escapes, but only momentarily. Vo will be on him like a rash. If he could find him, but Av3k is well out of harm's way as they will exchange for this Mega now. It will be Av3k who dives in, 78 pushed away from that rocket, but that was right after he picked up the Mega, and it has now been eaten all up. Vo sees a silhouette dancing across the map away, and that'll be enough to allow Vo to make his way down. We are in overtime on sudden death.
That's it. Next frag will determine the winner of this round as this intensifies. And indeed, this matchup here between the Solag and the Nyx has been quite long. Such a small amount of health. I can't believe what he's doing at the moment. He's just relying on the fact that Vo's not going to be landing the rails. That was insanely risky from Av3k, but that's just him feeling the game for the moment. High risk, high reward is what he's hoping for.
Oh, wow, what a world of damage done by that LG from Av3k. Pushes Vo all the heck away from the armor. And Rocket's waiting just in case Av3k was coming out. He wasn't.
That was crazy damage from Av3k. Vo went into that fight with confidence and left with his tail between his legs.
Literally. Little Solag gag there. Don't worry, I'm here all week.
Thanks for that. Oh, that rock. Only 3 damage. That's not going to mean too much, but if he can put down a bit more pressure on the armor, he would have been happy. Looking to see if he's going to choose the exit. Av3k's going to go up, and he uses the Ghost Walk as he moves up the bounce pad. It's going to be on the Mega. He does find him, but he can't pressure that anymore. There's no way he can push him to the choke point. Av3k still holding guard, doing some damage. He's found him once again, and these are some amazing rails from Av3k. Vo is in quite a bit of trouble, to be honest. The armor's going to come up, but I don't think Vo's going to be able to challenge for that. He needs to hold tight, and he needs to restack somehow. There's one armor there. He definitely needs more before he's going to be feeling healthy. One more shot. Uh-oh. Here comes the Ghost Walk right behind him. There's going to be some damage from Av3k. He's looking for a rail to finish it off, and there's just 1 health to go. And Av3k, he swoops that round. 2-0 here in map 2.
Gotta applaud that from Av3k. His rail was so strong in that round, and he ate away at that health difference, health deficit, with just sheer aplomb. And the final Ghost Walk was I'm lost for words. I can't get an intelligent sentence out.
That's exactly what put together all of it. It was the icing on the cake. And what we were talking about before about rails being more present and what Av3k needs to do to succeed more in this duel versus Vo, he's making it work fantastically with the rails that he's been connecting with so far. But we are watching Vo on Anarchy yet again, and see if he can get a bit more success with this champion. Guarding this choke point, and I can't believe that actually Av3k is pushing in with this, and there might be a chase. He's going to try and go in for it, but he's losing health from the damage over time. He's got Mega to work with, but lacking in the armor department.
Yeah, that had the risk of being a really cheap frag, but now that rail will follow up, and that's a nice play for Vo. He will have to do even more, but the second rail will help him out. And now he's got Av3k right where he wants him. Oh, just escaped like a fly in your bedroom.
Vo completely lost track of him for just a second. He was aiming over towards the Mega, and Av3k is going to drop down. A bit of acid spit comes out. Armor taken from Vo, and he might look for a way to aggress onto that Mega health. He knows roughly where he is, and he decides, nope, I'm going to disengage. We don't need to make any over-aggressive plays just yet. Just if you lose 1 round, then you're up to tied maps in the series, and it's getting a really, really big deal for the players. You're looking for a spot in the semi-finals at the moment if you win this series.
Here we go, opportunity now for Vo to push in. He will chase out as hit from Vo as he's falling back, but Av3k's rail does the job. And Vo will again go Sorlag second.
Maybe a small predictable movement from Vo as he was strafing left to look for that obvious exit. And a great read from Av3k, but we have got Vo though trying to get the acid spit out, but he's not getting much damage at all. Av3k looking excellent in this second map. And what the answers are for Vo, I'm just not sure at the moment. He's not getting enough damage out. The fights that Av3k's picking is just supreme to whatever Vo's looking to deliver. Wow, that damage just came out seemingly from nowhere. And all from a little Nyx.
Vo has his back against the wall here. He's in his last champion, in his last round, and shows that he's still got something. He's still kicking.
So Av3k does spot him for a moment, knows what item he's going to be going for. He calculates in his head when the next armor will spawn. Still got 10 seconds for Mega, and expecting Vo to have a presence here any moment. But, color me wrong, Vo is a million miles away. And that was just the Ghost Walk used from Av3k. So that's actually a small edge for Vo, and he's got time to work with this. Av3k's cleared up a couple of hourglasses. 2 more have been taken, shows his face for a second, now needs to escape. Starting to think about that clock. Not going to play on it just yet. But he needs to appear at some of these items and to be doing damage at something. Av3k may be expecting to be able to take it, but now going to realize it's too late. And a lot of these resources are going over to Vo.
Vo fully stacked and will be wanting an engagement now. Av3k doing the right thing, just making himself very hard to find. Going to wind down that clock, wait on the other side of the teleporter, look for Vo, try and get some information as the Mega comes up, misses his opening rail, and decides, you know what, I'm not going to take this one. And Vo will retain item control. Rocket's waiting for Av3k as he passed the entrance there. Now we'll drop down at armor and we'll probably do exactly the same, but there's Vo hounding down Av3k, down to just 20 points of health. Moment here for Vo, but he does not chase out, risking for that exact rocket that you saw Av3k dropping. And Av3k lives to fight another day, and with just 40 seconds left to go, his frag advantage is looking good.
Unbelievable that Av3k decided he didn't need to use the Ghost Walk. So much lightning gun damage was coming out from Vo. He's going to have to search the corners of the map if he wants to find Av3k. He might have just spotted him. The Ghost Walk comes out, and this is a good amount of time for Vo to make something happen. But he's gone down the bounce pad. He should have just heard Av3k moving away. We've got 15 seconds, 1 rail remaining. Vo, he's got to close the gap. Looking with the LG, he's used the Ghost Walk himself, but can he spot him for the frag? There it is! And that is going to be tied on champions as we head into the sudden death.
That use of the Ghost Walk from Vo was beautiful. Just gave Av3k no idea where he was coming from, and any move he had an answer for it. And now we are down to sudden death, 1 champion apiece, and Vo will feel the wind is in his sails.
Yeah, he's starting to get a little bit more momentum in this map. It's been really harsh going for him on Ruins of Sarnath anyway, so he's looking for a little more success here.
I think the only thing that saved Vo there was that Av3k did not have the rail, because he had the read on him. He was following all the way along, but no rail to back it up.
Oh yeah, he would have had no health at all if a rail was there to land. He's taken Mega. There's been an exchange on the items. They're respawning at pretty much exactly the same time. Av3k finally finding the rockets. And we've seen it before. If there's no stack at all on Vo, then that direct rocket is going to be the end of it. Fortunately for Cooler, he won his game, so he doesn't have to relive that pain. Ooh. In the end, nothing gained for Vo, and he's deciding he's going to do a little bit of a delay. Oh, watch out. These directs are so fearsome. He even wants to keep a hold of all of the armor. He would have heard the armor being taken beforehand, needs to move away. If you zoom in for a certain amount of time and allow the railgun to charge up, you can do 90 damage instead of 80. So there's still that fear when you go against it. It's going to find him.
Vo can't escape Av3k now, but has done some damage. The rail just connected. Didn't connect, and Vo escapes with his life intact. And Av3k predicted that Ghost Walk and was right on him. footstep for footstep, but Vo cannot escape him yet.
And you know what I was saying earlier about those bounce pad rails being so easy to land? Av3k is not going to be happy about missing that. There's 2 seconds remaining until that ghost walks back up. He's going to take it right away. Surely he had it up, but Vo, he goes down, did not check his ability, and that allows Av3k to get a 3-0 in map 2.
3-0 map 2, great response from Av3k. Having lost his own, he comes back to take Vo's map, and Vo, head in hand, will know that there was a window of opportunity for him there, and Av3k answered a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm concerned for Vo that he wasn't paying attention to the amount of time left on the ability. Maybe he just assumed that the clock was still on it and that he wasn't going to have it at all in that fight, but that was his escape option. Doesn't mean he would have necessarily won the fight at all, but that would have allowed him to survive until the next stage. So moving on to the next, I believe we're going to be having Corrupted Keep. That is going to decide who moves through to the semi-final. Of course, this is there's no loser bracket in this. There's just one. So if you lose a match, you're going to be going home. You're going to be going out, and you will not be seen.
What you're saying is, if you lose, you're a loser.
That's it. I think we got so many tournaments where you've got we got a loser bracket. We got a special place for people who lose their games.
I think you'll need to go back in ES Reality history and find out what Carmack thinks of loser brackets, and you'd know there wouldn't be one here this weekend. But a fantastic tournament thus far, and Vo and Av3k playing out a great chapter of this story. Av3k has had quite the story of his own before the return to Quake Champions. I wonder whether we'll ever hear the whole of it. Maybe only Too Good's version, which in itself is a movie waiting to happen.
And I would like to announce that we know another result, that we can be expecting a match between Cooler and Claws later on for people, a fan of the 2Z player. But
on the stream, though, we have the All-American match, which is Rafa versus Dahang.
That's going to be a blast, actually. And fair play, I think, to Dahang making it this far in the tournament. I know some players have been seeing him as not even a top North American contender anymore. And players like Gelasak taking his place, but Dahang cementing himself again at the top of the competition in Quake, where we expected to see him in Quake Live before.
All right, we are about to get underway for our third and final match between these two European stalwarts. Are you sticking with Av3k for the win?
Absolutely. I'm afraid I'm Maestro fanboy for life, but a prediction's a prediction, and it's been at the bottom of my heart since before this weekend even started. And I feel that it is going to be Av3k moving to the next stage. I
feel Av3k's use of the rail on that second map was one of the main factors between it.
Yeah.
No rail on this map. And we'll see whether Vo on CTN, it was his LG and rocket combos that were really so powerful. Let's see whether that can come to his favor once more.
I think we're going to see a pretty close map just due to that. It's really going to be down to who's going to be timing their aggression a little bit more, who can keep that control on the items, whether or not we're going to be seeing Dungeons delays or anything like that. But guys, we have started here on the tiebreaker map of the quarterfinals between Vo and Av3k. Early damage exchanged, and actually almost equally with the nail gun from Vo. And he's coming back in with the lightning gun. The acid has been sprayed, going through the teleporter though, and Vo is searching for that first frag and will get it within within the 30-second mark.
Excellent play from Vo. He knew there was an opportunity there, and he was not going to let it go. Let's see whether he can do anything more. He does not have a whole lot of health to play with, and that's why he wasn't really keen on an engagement with Av3k post respawn. Vo is ready to start this all over again. Rocket does do some damage to Av3k, but Vo can't get close enough to him to engage again.
Yeah, we should see a lot of hyperactivity actually from Vo's Anarchy on this map. And I think he's going to try and bring a sort of persona to this game, that he's not afraid, that he's happy to play an aggressive match and not give Av3k the space that he needs to conduct himself the way he expects to in a duel. Armor's up. Vo does eventually make the jump across. We have got Ghost Walk used. Wonder, Vo's going to know that it's been used as well. He's going to back away, he's going to recollect himself, and he's going to try and pick a fight probably in the next 10 to 15 seconds to see what he can do. But it's still a while until the armor's up, and his stack isn't sort of back to its natural fullness.
Here we go, exchange comes forward, and Av3k's LG is all over Vo. Vo does escape. And Av3k will be frustrated that he couldn't quite finish that off.
Well, any hopes for Vo to initiate a fight within those 10-15 seconds is going to be completely vanished so far, as Av3k is now controlling the map and has done really well while his Ghost Walk has not been available.
But that's okay for Vo. He's got the first frag, and what he's been very, very good at is picking his engagements.
Yeah, and he can back off a little bit. We might see that continued hyperactivity, but he needs to settle down a little bit. A small exchange on the lightning gun. We've got armor spawning soon, and it's actually Vo this time who's controlling that sort of funnel towards the item. Is he going to drop back down again? He's absolutely mad. He just about gets it, walks through the teleporter, and is going to edge away with still some of that armor intact.
In that whole exchange, Vo didn't know where Av3k was. You could see those opening rockets being dropped down. He had no idea, and Av3k will see that as a missed opportunity.
So if you can't see your opponent, just run around, jump chaotically, and you can do things. And the LG coming out, though, there is the injection used, and Vo makes it around the corner with about 1 health to spare.
That cat has used all of his lives.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to watch out, and he's close to running right into Av3k. He forces the Ghost Walk, and he's going to need to escape yet again. Health bubbles on the side. Armor is up, and he might be taking a bit of a gamble going for this, but he succeeds. But there's no time to breathe at any point. 5 health remaining at the LG from Av3k, finally taking him down. 1 champion down for each player, and it is now Vo with the Sorlag going up against the Nyx with still 20 seconds remaining for his Ghost Walk.
But Vo has been isolated up there and doesn't have the weapons to pick this fight off the spawn.
It's just because of that positional advantage that Av3k has got at the moment. If Vo goes down, his hitbox is so big, Sorlag is enormous, and he's just going to take so much LG damage. So he's just hoping, he's like, look, the armor's up, I'm going to wait for you to go away and take it. If you come through the teleporter, though, I've got a truckload of acid that is going to destroy you.
Well, in the end, Av3k will let Vo out for the armor, and we'll come back looking for more.
And it was actually a good move from Vo as well to try to force Av3k away, because that Mega spawn, I mean, Av3k has been staying there so long, the Mega respawned and allowed Vo to get a little bit more stack for himself.
1 minute warning.
Do feel this is only going to go down to this second frag here as we go into the last minute.
I think it's very possible. I mean, we were seeing it earlier in Ruins when we had that Sorlag versus Nyx matchup, that it can be something that takes a while to really conclude, and that's just because of the way these two champions are played. Or played against each other. Nyx being weak, really having to pick those moments carefully. And I really feel that without a rail on this map, this is something that should advantage Vo a bit. And I'd say that. I'll say that I expect Vo to take this round. But you know what, Av3k, he loves to surprise people. And he loves to do crazy things. Vo being very careful to move around. Going to spot him on the side.
Av3k has surrendered his initiative as well that he had when Vo respawned, and in doing so now, the sudden death that we're about to go into is going to favor Vo, who I think was more than happy to play down this last minute and get us to this moment in time.
Definitely, he's happy. He's got a stack, he's got his acid. There's one happy Sorlag we're seeing right there. Taking bits of chip damage, but there's nothing to fret about at all. Mega's going to be up. And because he's got a bit of that extra health already, he's going to sit and wait for the armor a little. Spotted him for just a second. Sorlag's stack is enormous. But can he pressure at all? He's looking for that nail gun. Wondering if he has got the upgraded heavy machine gun that can be useful from that long distance. Nice little jump there from Av3k. Trying to put some pressure onto Vo a bit. That overstack is now gone, which is...
Great work from Av3k there. He really had no right to do as much damage as he did. Vo, though, will take the armor and will rebuild that very quickly. Av3k will have to do all of that work once again, but nice work. Av3k, in one word, it would describe him in that second map and now in this disciplined.
Yeah, that's it. And both of these players have got to be incredibly patient at the moment. And I think that Vo can maybe take the gamble a little bit more than Av3k to try and force that good work up, and that's it. Av3k, limited amount of health, still hasn't used it, got the Mega to take. And that's a very good job from him as well to not panic and not pull the trigger onto Ghost Walk. And he might try and engage a little further. Vo taking quite a bit of damage, in fact. That heavy machine gun, although the rate of fire is low, it's 15 stack up nicely.
Here we go. Av3k will sense his moment is now, but doesn't have a good read on where Vo is. Vo still just behind that mega spawn. Now Av3k has the moment. LG out. This could be Av3k's chance to finish off the game. No! Vo escapes. Av3k down to 66, and an exchange would be even for both of them here. Av3k wants more, and he's chasing out Vo this time. Will he be able to finish him off? Does 60 damage between all of those hits. Now goes for more. Oh, Vo's still escaping. He's got 2 full bars up, and now does get out. 3-3 for Vo, and Av3k will know that there was a window there.
That was very, very close. Vo had that calculated precisely. I'm not sure if he was expecting to get that weak, but he gave himself enough space so that he could afford it. 2.5 minutes down into this. Still pretty weak. 13 health all of a sudden for Av3k, and he refuses to pull the trigger on the Ghost Walk. This man has balls of steel, armor taken, rockets being delivered straight after. 75 health, and surely Vo can find a bit of damage and force out that Ghost Walk. It's just not happening though. Av3k retains a really strong position by having that ability and can make those surprise attacks.
The key part is to remember to reset that. That's more like when he gets so much health, you have to do this all over again. LG drop down here. Big rocket there from Av3k. This is his moment now. He has just 2 bars less than Vo, but Vo will make his way out. Another follow-up with a rocket. He's hitting all his shots. Can he finish off the job? He is making this so hard for himself. His damage given stats must be insane, but he just can't quite kill him.
That's it, and Vo's on the run at the moment. Even though his health isn't too bad, he's got no armor at all. And he's just hidden around the corner, but Av3k, obviously not in the know. He's going to move elsewhere with the items spawned. Now, there's been a split on the items because of the delay, and it's going to allow Av3k to get everything, doing strong LG damage. Vo down to sub 75 health, and Vo, he's looking to close this one out. He's found it in no man's land. That is going to be the frag. It took 3.5 minutes of overtime, but he's found it.
Great play from Av3k there. Waited. Knew when his moment was, and he took it. And he had to be patient, he had to be disciplined, and to not get frustrated, because he took Vo down. He took all that Solak sack away 2 or 3 times before eventually getting the kill. And we had to wait some 5 minutes-ish for the final kill, but boy, was it worth it. Av3k up 1 to the good.
That's it, and I like the heavy machine gun play that we had from him as well. That was doing so much damage to Solak and really making it hard for Vo to control his stack. But we've got a really aggressive play from Vo. He's taken a lot of nail gun damage and might have to be a little careful.
This looks like rage to me. Vo just wants blood, and he's chasing it with that LG. He may just get it. Injects 22 points of health. Escapes, and Av3k didn't have much more himself. He's going to go back for more. Av3k comes out on top. Vo is nowhere to be seen off the spawn, and Av3k has the mega and is ready to fight again.
That was close to genius from Vo, but he just couldn't land the shots that he needed to hit. Otherwise, he would have got that frag. I believe there was about 16 health left for Av3k. And unfortunately for Vo, then he's going to be very quickly at a disadvantage. It is Solak versus Solak. And there's good weaponry for Vo. Has got a stack advantage. And he's also got the possibility to control the map. Mega up in a moment, with plenty of time to go over to armor. I mean, it's still his time to shine. He's moving over. He's trying to land some of the shots. A little bit of chip damage on the side. Hits the archers, but the armor is going to go to Av3k in the end. Fantastic rocket, though, from Vo, following up.
Yeah, Vo has made this very, very expensive. Rocket in from Av3k, though, this time lands his first in a little while. But Av3k has 51-21. He needs more to play with. He doesn't want this engagement. Vo will get it, surely. Oh, wow. Awesome work. That LG just tears through the Dutchman. But Av3k himself is wounded and must evade.
Yeah, Av3k still isn't in a very good position at all. Vo was very conservative there not to go in to finish the frag. And I don't dislike the play from him. Av3k knows where he is, and he is going to be able to escape with some armor, albeit losing a little bit of health. Vo not going up the stairs. If he went up the stairs just there, he was probably going to be in a lot of trouble. You can see Av3k now managing his ammunition as well, as he's looking comfortable for the first time in probably about a minute.
Comfort comes at the cost of knowing where Vo is, but he'll see him beneath him now. The LG from Vo is great. The rockets from Av3k equally so. And Av3k is going to push Vo away down towards that armor spawn, which Vo does collect. Av3k now follows up with the rocket, chasing Vo out of there. Doesn't do any damage. And the 2 players will pull away from that exchange somewhat evenly, but Av3k has more health now. He will chase around behind Vo, who drops down onto that mega. And Vo collects at the expense of Av3k's desire to get it, and we'll see if there's in the exchange there isn't, and the 2 will give each other a little bit of room.
Yeah, Av3k was looking very low on ammunition as well, so he had to make sure he could collect those rockets on top of that. Good rockets from Vo. Looking at an LG exchange at the moment, that's all the ammunition over for Av3k. He's right at the top, but I don't think Vo noticed how close he was to him just then. Some verticality added to this fight. Good control, good positioning, what we've seen from Vo. Although he's been sacrificing a bit of health, he has been moving very well around the map, but that is only one piece of the puzzle that he's playing with. So he needs to still secure that frag onto Av3k. LG doing good damage, knows exactly where he is. Chipping away with those rockets. He landed 2 directs there, ultimately getting himself that first frag of the round and eliminating that Solag. And we've got what seems like such a classic matchup. We've got Av3k's Nyx versus Vo's Solag. We know how it ended last time. It was Av3k that actually came out on top.
But without the rail, that's going to be a different ball game.
It is.
As we now see Vo chasing out. Vo will sense that there's a moment here for him as Av3k in the end gives him some space.
I think definitely on Vo to keep controlling those big items. And even the little ones too. Don't forget the little ones. Gonna find him, LG out, Mega taken, and he's forced that Ghost Walk. Now that healthy paranoia, trying to figure out where on earth Av3k is. Knows the Ghost Walk is over. 10 seconds until the armor. He might try and go for that first. And I love that he's waiting around for these small pieces. He's gonna rocket jump. This is it. This is more the Vo that we know. We know he needs to exude some kind of confidence at the moment and force himself into a fight with Vo. It still feels like Av3k is in the driving seat at the moment, and it shouldn't be that way.
That one rocket that will remind Av3k just how vulnerable he is as Vo loses Av3k to the Ghost Walk.
And Vo's got no LG. Ah, there it is. He's found the other ammo crate. No problems. It's almost as if he's timing the ammo crates at this stage. He's spotted Av3k on the side. Knows that he's going to have taken those hourglasses, and there's a little limited amount of time left until he has his ability back up. I think he needs to push in right now. I think he needs to go for it. And this is something that Solag's definitely capable of doing. Av3k trying to earn himself some position, but we keep seeing Vo moving back to those items. This is slowing him down at the moment. That Ghost Walk is back up.
You just want to see Vo take a gamble.
Yeah, he's got to at this stage.
But does he have to? He's in sudden death. He can pick his moment. He can make sure that he wins it.
I mean, yes, but at the same time, that's what really allowed Av3k to get back into the last round. He was able to get that chip damage away, and he had the Ghost Walk up that he was so stubborn about not using. And the fact that Vo wasn't confident enough to force him to, or wasn't able to hit the shots, he's got to regain that confidence and assert himself properly on this map. But all of a sudden, that was the most anticlimactic right there. The LG comes out, and that is going to lock it down for Vo. 1-1 in the tiebreaker map.
I think you're quite right. That was exactly anticlimactic. I had a little joke lined up about, well, the longer this goes on, the more medals he wins, and that's what everyone wants. And in the end, Av3k just showed his backside to him. Vo chopped him away with the LG. That was it. GG.
This is Av3k was snoozing for a moment. Vo, he's been forced out onto... gauntling himself into oblivion, or at least is what it looked like. That was just the acid spit tearing him down. The injection wasn't enough for him, and Vo finds himself at a frag disadvantage 10-15 seconds into this third round.
Those first exchanges that we've seen in this, like both players go hammer and tong for the first fight. We're a round each here in map 3 if you're just joining us.
And Av3k will definitely cherish this advantage that he's been awarded oh so early on. But it's those Solag fights. Solag being playing the best Solag really is so important at the moment in duel. To really mark yourself, get a lot out of it. Av3k with the lower ground, trying to get some understanding of what's happening over at Mega, but moves away in favor of controlling armor. Spots Vo on the side, and both players, a slight delay on the item, but they end up taking it at the same time.
Now here we go, Av3k's going to push him with that LG. This is his moment on Vo! Vo will escape, and the rocket will stop Av3k from charging through. And Vo gets out with his life, and now Neither player has a lot of health. This is an even exchange if they were to take it. Rocket drop down from Av3k doesn't do it. And he will teleport through as Vo0 will have free view of that Mega. Will push on top of it and take it as Av3k's rocket did land just behind him. And I think it was almost a millimeter away.
Yeah, I think Av3k didn't want to be stuck in that little corner because it would have meant that otherwise Vo0 could take both the Mega and the armor, and Av3k just couldn't bear to see that much control go into the Dutchman's favor. But unfortunately, he didn't really have a backup plan that would allow him to escape properly. Now we get back to the classic matchup. And Vo0, I think he's going to start changing the pace a little bit more at the moment. If he can get himself into a good position, there is the Algae forcing out the Ghost Walk, winning that last fight against the Nyx, probably going to make him feel a lot better. And he's going to have the armor as well. Surely this is go time for him. He's going to find him near the bounce pad. Here's him down below. That Ghost Walk is up. This is it. This is the one. Vo0 needs to land all the frags that he needs. But he can't quite get it. Spots him right at the top, looking for the health to heal him up a little bit. And that was a brilliant read. I thought maybe he'd forgotten about him in the initial parts, but that was excellent.
You talked about Vo0 needing to show a little more aggression about 2 minutes ago. There it was. That rocket jump was optional. It was optional. It was a choice to go for the frag. He believed in himself, and he got it. And he downed Av3k like a bad Taylor Swift song. And now he's going to push in, feeling all the confidence in the world to try and chase this game out.
No, that was amazing. Vo0's doing exactly what he needs to do in order to see him succeed in this quarterfinal. And we're getting towards the very, very late stages where they can start seeing the extra money in the bank and their closeness to that trophy, and that is going to be it. Av3k, he's giving himself up a little bit, maybe not liking the way he played beforehand and putting himself out there a bit too much. Haven't seen much in the way of the sort of effective dire orbs used, and
that moment.
This is it.
The choice to do that is fantastic. Yes, numerically he had all of the advantage, but so long through this game we've seen Vo0 choose not to be that aggressive.
Yep.
And that was his moment, and Vo0 now is on match point and is looking hot.
No, that's exactly it. And I wasn't expecting to see us in this position.
Here we go.
Wow.
Av3k has no health to play with, and Vo0's LG is going to rip through him. Vo0 is 2 frags away from victory.
This is unbelievable. He is going to be tasting victory at the moment, but he's got to keep his cool. This doesn't mean being overly conservative like before, and LG from Av3k, that's going to hurt a lot. The game is certainly intensifying. You can see that healthy paranoia as the Ghost Walk was used and expecting Av3k to want to steal one of those items. Mega and heavy armor taken away. Now does Vo0 want to aggress yet again and try and close it out even earlier than before?
Well, here is the thing. Vo0 is an emotional beast. He will be hunting, and he will want to end this. Av3k is fantastic at playing against you when you are a little bit too overconfident, when you do think you've got it in the palm of your hands. So this is going to be a fascinating next 4 minutes.
That Ghost Walk's going to be back up again. Mega taken by Av3k. LG coming out, but that is going to be the restack that Vo0 needed with the armor. And he's going to spot him down. Oh, the little jump from Av3k, but he's taking a direct rocket. That's going to force out the Ghost Walk. And does Vo0 know where he's gone at all? Finds him at the lower health level, but this is really, really dangerous for Av3k. There's a bit of a stack remaining. How's he going to use the Acid Spear? He's connected with some of it, but he can't find the kill. The mic ticking down is going to kill him anyway. Vo0 is still a frag ahead in this round.
Getting rid of that Soul Egg, so vital for Av3k. He has himself a moment now. And exactly what I was talking about. Av3k knows how to turn confidence against you. Vo0 is going to suicide out and take us down to a 1 champion game. Here we go. It's all on the round, all on the line here. Forget the clock. 1 frag will send one of these players home as Av3k goes hunting down Vo0. And Vo0 is nowhere to be seen. As Av3k will catch wind of him, fire off a few shots towards him, and drop down waiting for that armor.
Well, this is really it for Vo0. You don't want to be giving up at this point when you're so close to that victory and having to reset it. You've done so much hard work. You've taken down the Nyx and the Solag of Av3k, and that's been something that's been so difficult. In particular, the Nyx, I've got to say.
Here it is. Av3k's going to go for it. Rocket in the face will push him back. And Av3k smelled blood. He got a little click off that first rocket and then thought there was a moment there. Now will his LG be enough? Av3k dancing around Vo0. Vo0 gets himself out of trouble just in the nick of time, but has no health to play with. He needs to be as far away from Av3k as humanly possible.
This is really bad for Vo0 at the moment. He's only got 75 health to play with. The items aren't up for absolutely ages. He finds a small armor, and he's got 15 seconds left until his ability's back up, but lands an enormous rocket. This might buy him the time that he needs. And he's moving over to the armor himself. Is he actually going to make a play for it? Direwolf comes out from Av3k, and Vo0 is so low. The Ghost Wall comes out, and Vo0, he's got to make a play away. Was that bounce pad heard, though? I'm not sure. Vo0's back into the corners of the map at the moment. He is going to be sweating bullets.
Telling you, that rocket about 30 seconds ago saved Vo's match. As now we'll see Av3k ready to go. Vo0 is in trouble here. That rocket was big. Can he finish him off? All he needs is a little bit of the LG connection. There it is. Vo's just away, but he's got no health. This rocket will do it surely. Somehow Vo still survives.
What?
There's nothing left in that health bar for Vo, but he at one point will do it. And Av3k himself does not have much. Got away towards the armor, and now Vo has Mega, and now the game resets once again.
That is absolutely insane. With 1 point of health remaining, Vo survives, and he's got a huge lifeline. He's sitting on armor as if it's about to spawn, but he can calm down a little bit. He's got the Ghost Walk. Absolutely pivotal for him to use it at that right moment. But he's had to use it so defensively beforehand. He's going to hope that he can do something maybe a bit more proactive rather than reactive.
Opportunity now as Av3k will come towards him. Vo has the Mega on lock, and there's a rocket chasing him out though, and he'll lose all of that advantage now, and Av3k senses a moment here. Vo down to 29. Av3k goes looking for him. Dean will see that the opportunity is there, but the Ghost Walks gets Vo out of jail freely. And Av3k is now hunting him down. 15 points of health. I talked about this cat running out of lives earlier. Well, somehow, Vo is a cat with more than 9 lives, as his 50 points of health have just got him out.
There's the amount of time left as well on his Ghost Walk. He's going to get the Mega. He's going in with the LG fight, trying to escape from this. Safely gets up the bounce pad. There are their hourglasses that are crucial for him to take. 4 seconds until a Ghost Walk. Every second feeling like a year. Doesn't need the rockets right now. And stopping all these strong, aggressive moves from Av3k so far is going to be getting under his skin. That machine gun damage did absolutely loads. Fortunately for Vo, he's got something to fall back on. He's not quite going to be able to make that Dire Orb work.
Here we go. Av3k chases in to tie up this game, to correct what I said earlier, as he will push in, looking for the moment on Vo, as Vo escapes and gets us out of there. It is Vo who's on match point.
I do like what Av3k's doing, even though he needed it himself. Getting those hourglasses out the way in case he can force the Ghost Walk very soon means that it's going to be one less little thing that Vo can bite on. And he's just taken both items. We are seeing some amazing control through the use of that Dire Orb. Vo is going to be forcing that Ghost Walk. There's such a small amount of health, and I feel time after time after time it is Av3k who is in control of the situation. Vo's going to be definitely regretting losing that Anarchy so early on in the fight here. 75 health. A little bit of splash damage, and you know what? That information is beautiful. That is music to his ears. Makes him know exactly where Av3k's running around on the map. And the hourglasses, that's even better for him. And again, this must be sort of take 6 on what Vo can do to try and... Oh, brilliant defensive work with the rockets. Another rocket over 4 health. He's going to have to force that one out. If he does something aggressive, that could really catch Av3k off guard. But he's going to elect not to do that now. Such a dangerous position to be in. Rockets defensively, but it won't work. Av3k is going to win that round, and it's going to put him on the tiebreaker. Tosbar, we have got to the end of this series. We are on the final round. Scratch what's happened before. This is where the duel begins. Av3k or Vo looking to take themselves to the Quake World Championship semi-finals.
These two players just cannot be separated. And there's going to be a rocket coming in, and one consistent theme throughout this series has been early engagements. Every time we've seen them, and then we reset into whoever loses their Sorlag sometimes. As now it will be Vo pushing out. We're not going to have that early exchange this time.
Yeah, I wonder at this time if both players might expect each other to pay a lot of respect considering how late they are in this game, but that could just be a play because Vo's going in with loads of LG damage, and look at that confidence, the aggression, securing that first frag, forcing out the Ghost Walk immediately. Trying to see where on earth is Av3k playing. This is huge for Vo.
Ballsy, ballsy play from Av3k to contest that Mega then, and let's see whether he's going to pay the price.
I think he needs to close the gap straight away. I think Vo knows what he has to do. 20 seconds. It's just whether or not he can execute on it. A little bit of chip damage. That armor, he's going to be smelling blood. Again, a rocket jump at the top. Not going to find him the way he did before. Whoa, Mega does take a hint of damage, but that Ghost Walk is now up, and that might mean that Vo's got to think of a different strategy, tactic going into this.
Vo and his LG will track out. You feel he just changed weapons a moment too early there, and now the rockets will rain down. Vo feeling confident, hops up, big rocket taken back from him. Av3k will escape with the Ghost Walk, but Vo was right on his tail, and Av3k lives to fight another day. Vo hounding down, and is a frag to the good. Remember, in round 5, match point.
I love that acid spit that he used on the armor as well, really securing it and making sure that Av3k wasn't going to do something funny and try to take it himself. And the good thing is as well for him, he's taken a couple of the hourglasses. He wants to push right away. He knows there's only a couple of seconds left. Av3k is going to be going down. It is just the Ranger remaining for Virtus Pro. Av3k.
And that Ranger will be under a lot of pressure. Vo, sensing his moment, is going for this aggression and will chase out Av3k and should just about finish the job. Vo sensed blood and Vo took blood as he finishes off Av3k and takes himself onto the next round. Fantastic play from the Dutchman as Av3k is left with a lot of questions to answer.
I gotta say, Vo looks a bit less animated than I'd expect after such an insanely intense series such as that. It's just business for him. He's looking for #1 at the moment, and I think he won't stop till he gets that.
I loved Vo's ability there to decide. Like, he played some really patient and disciplined Quake, and then in the last 2 rounds, he's like, this is my moment, turned up the aggression a notch or 2, and took home the win.
No, I think it was fantastic. There were definitely some moments during that series where he's giving a bit too much respect to Av3k and was thinking, okay, if I play really conservatively and I pick my moments super carefully, then maybe I can eke out those high return on investment plays or something like that. But you know, when you bring a bit more chaos to it, controlled chaos, in the style that Vo is typically known for, then that's actually what makes him succeed. And he brought that to this game. Excellent from him.
Let's talk about this young lad. On your screen, Av3k looks devastated after that defeat.
Yeah, he's going to be gutted. He's definitely one of the favorites going into this. So be, yeah, hopefully to see him again in a tournament here soon.
Well, that'll be all from this great series. We're going to throw it up to bring you his closing thoughts. Marcus, DJ, Wheat Graham, and the gang.
Thank you very much, Stuart. Amazing, amazing game. We were talking a lot about both these players prior to. Watching this one through and through was incredible. You had Vo taking that first game. I think that really set the tone for this match. And ultimately, you know, Vo played to his strengths. And I think especially on that last map, that's really what we were seeing there. I mean, I don't know. First, let me ask first, are you guys kind of shocked that we have someone at a caliber of Av3k, like, leaving the tournament?
I can't say shocked because we're talking about Vo. So, but yeah, honestly, if I was going to pick a winner in this, I honestly thought Av3k was going to come through with a hard-fought win, obviously, but credit to Vo, he was sharp, and we were just commenting about, you know, he got off to that good start. Av3k bounced back in the second round, really took the momentum from him, and it seemed like Vo was on his heels for a minute, and then he just like flipped a switch. It really did seem like he was just like, the heck with this. I know what I can do. I'm gonna move fast, I'm gonna get aggressive, and when I see opportunities, I'm gonna push. And I must say, he did a great job. Although he didn't win that round, he was so low so many times. He was limiting Av3k when he had control. He was just making it difficult on him.
Yeah.
For me, guys, that was probably the most fascinating duel I've seen in Quake Champions. There was so many variations of strategy coming out from both players where they were reacting and adapting just the way we said earlier Cooler did. So Av3k in the first map was caught off guard by Vu's real outright aggression. And in the second map, he thought, hey, I'm just going to play a bit more passive and let you come at me. And that really did work against Vu. He carried on with that in the start of the game, and Vu went a bit passive himself to try and react to Av3k. And when that wasn't working, as we just said, Vu said, hey, I'm not going to win this like this. I'm going to have to go back to my roots, so I'm going to have to pressure Av3k. And then that forced Av3k onto the aggressive in reaction. So the continual shifts and adaptation by both players shows that this was just the most high quality and interesting duel we've seen in a while.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, and I want to make just a quick comment about the maps too, because I mentioned it to you, Vic, but I really felt, I mean, you look at the maps that Vu won, and they're fast maps. They're like small, a little bit of close corner. You know, Ruin, although we saw some great rail trades back and forth and some amazing play there, I just, again, those maps on Vu, like if Vu is your opponent in the future, I'd say those are two maps that you want to stay far away from, because I really feel like that brings out what is the best in Vu. We know he can aim, but his movement, his ability to move and fire and be as accurate as he is, we saw that on ZTN a lot. It's pretty sick.